Last but certainly not least is our final honoree, Mr. Eric Jackson of R3 Inc. As a fellow native of downtown Charleston, South Carolina, it warms my heart to be able to see someone so dedicated to the youth and communities of Charleston and always looking for ways to be able to go above and beyond to make a difference in someone's life.
Well, my name is Eric Jackson. I was born and raised in Charleston. I think that's one of the things that they admire so much. That I'm an educated Geechee man. But no, I was born and raised in Charleston. Graduated high school from Charleston. Left in 1995. Went into the military. After I came out of the military, I just came back, and that's when I started my community work, just volunteering, um, working with the football teams that my son played on, and just took it from there. Um, Started, working for the city of Charleston, worked my way up the ranks, and then after maybe a 3 or 4 year stint with the city of Charleston, I established R3 Inc. And I think that's what kind of made R3 Inc. Scribe is like we just was a spinoff from the city of Charleston Recreation, and we just implemented some social emotional developments into the sports arena, and I think that's what kind of helped us, um, elevate ourselves.
Okay. All right. So, you talked about, how you're an educated Geechee man, born and raised here in Charleston. I know as someone who's born and raised here, left and came back, what would you say was like a major influence for you to come back and actually, get involved in the community the way that you have? You said you feel like the, R3 that you started was like a spinoff of the recreation department with the city of Charleston. But what kind of influenced you to say, okay, I'm going to go in this direction?
Well, I just the relationship with the kids. I saw a lot of them focusing on sports and not really taking school seriously. I wanted to originally start off with an AAU basketball team, but when I started practice and just started to see some of the behaviors of the students that I was working with, I said, we can even practice basketballs. How could we travel? So I went back to the drawing board and just started developing partnerships with organizations that have been doing it for a while. And then we just started partnering with like MUSC Health and all these different types of organizations that were already in place. And then I that's when I started really working into the schools because most schools have sports teams. And I said, so instead of focusing so much energy on sports, I'll make sure that they start getting their grades right. For the student athletes that really wanted to play on the next level, I'll make sure that they had the SAT scores, ACT scores, the clearance house, and all those type of things together. So I just kind of use that opportunity to find my space. You have your coaches making sure they get athletes. You have your schools making sure that they doing what it takes to graduate high school. And I just tied all that together just to make sure that they were just good people ready to graduate into the world.
What do you feel like was one of your biggest moments of it could be starting the program, maintaining the program, expanding into the other amazing things that you've done? What was that one that just stands out for you? Like one moment that's just like, this is what, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I have this one story that I always give because it's the truth. I had this kid named Najee, and he came from DJG, straight from DJG, and into the Boys and Girls Club, and we was like, "Yo, what's up? What you want to do?" And man, this kid was so talented, man. He was crocheting, he was rapping, and he was just. I was like, we just used to have some real conversations, like, "Yo, what's up with school, man? When you gonna get back in school?" So we helped him get back into school, and he was like in 10th grade when he first came home, and we helped him just stay on track. And when he graduated, and he received the Bulldog Award as that student who persevered and overcame things. And for us to be a part of that, that was like our big moment because that right there let me know that first of all we can do this. You see what I'm saying? Because he was raw. but I'm talking about straight from DJJ. He was raw, and a lot of people didn't, look at him as what we were looking at him as. You know what I'm saying? So when he graduated and he walked across the stage and he got that award, man, that I cried, and I was just so happy for him. And just to see him working now, just doing and being responsible, that means a lot. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of these kids aren't going to go to 4-year colleges or whatever the case may be. But the fact that he's in the workforce is something that we set goals for, and that's like one of our major accomplishments as an organization.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And that's a phenomenal story. I love hearing things like that, like specific people that you can remember.
Yeah.
So how do you, being from Charleston, we have these negative stereotypes. I won't even say specifically being from Charleston, just living and being someone that knows this culture and has dealt with the people in so many different ways. How do you kind of avoid the negativity? How do you kind of, excuse yourself from it in a way and kind of just maintain that focus on, I'm here for kids. I'm here to help people. I'm here to change lives. Like, what for you helps you to stay focused and help you to remember, like, this is why I'm here?
I'm big on faith, man. And like I said, I came from a place that was a humbling. You know what I mean? I didn't come up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I saw my mother work hard, 2 or 3 jobs just to make sure that her family was being fed. So like that always keep me humble. And every morning I wake up, man, I put in the atmosphere, God is good. Just reminding us that, we supposed to be good people, man. You know what I mean? And it ain't all the time that I 100% positive, but it ain't gonna be too many people to get me out of my character. And I just focus on that. I just focus on being positive. A lot of these kids are already in negative situations with, the household, some having issues in school. So I just look at always trying to smile and just meeting those kids where they are. So I can't meet negativity with negativity to expect a positive outcome. So that's why I always try to remain positive.
Um, so I asked you about your biggest moment. What do you feel has been your biggest regret? Like a moment maybe where you may have felt like I could have done something better. I could have, did this a little differently or something like that.
Yes. One of the reasons why we call ourselves Real Talk, Real Action, and Real Results is because we talk about the negative results. We had a kid, Hezekiah Holloway, that was killed on Christmas Day, and I always look back at what could I have done different, because I saw him shifting into the negativity, and I would go and try to talk to him, and he would, try to stray away from me and not have the same conversations that we would have. I saw him being, cutting school and all these different type of things like that. So I always ask myself is like, I always had an open door policy, but like, what would make this kid come talk to me instead of being out there in the streets or wherever the case may be? And just with that, it was a negative thing, but other kids started talking to me like, yo, the economic situations for some of these kids are real. Like, people don't understand, like, some of these kids, if they don't go out here and sell roses or petty hustle or whatever the case may be, they don't eat. That's a reality. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's one of the reasons why we shifted into the economic development. You see what I'm saying? Because we started creating jobs for them to have during the summer and get them off of the streets and let them know that, you can learn how to write a resume now. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So like, I took that negative moment of losing Hezekiah, and he's been a motivating factor to just keep going, opening more doors, create more pathways for the kids to communicate, and really listening to what they're saying, because they all telling us in a way the direction that they're going. So like, that's one of my biggest regrets, but it's also my motivating factor.
Okay. All right. One question that I definitely do want to ask you that I probably have asked you before. Um, Describe your definition of what it means to you to be a leader and what leadership means to you. I think that you are you are someone that I consider to be a naturally just like people just you walk in the room, they're like, okay, that guy's the leader. We paying attention to this guy. So talk about leadership for you. How has it changed your life? How do you feel like it's made you a better person? How do you feel like it's helped you in building your business to what it is now?
Well, there are different type of leadership styles, and I consider myself to be a servant leader. All the work that I do is to benefit the people that I'm working with. I don't look at it as a personal gain. I don't need any more accolades. I don't need any more pat on the backs or whatever the case may be. My ultimate goal is to get the people that I'm helping to the next level. The students, I want them to graduate high school and be able to go into the military, be able to go into the workforce, or be able to go to a college of their choice if that's the route that they choose. And if we got students that's looking to be entrepreneurs, I want to make sure that they are ready for that also. That's my reward. I don't do it for money. And my leadership style is basically where I just listen to what the people want. And that's a part of our whole format of blueprinting. I sit down, we come up with a blueprint, we come up with a plan of action of what's going to make you successful. Like I have a kid that come to me and say, hey, I want to be a doctor. Like, yo, listen, you got to take these type of classes to be a doctor. You have to be strong in these subjects. Like we get them interested in that. We'll take them on a tour to MUSC to see what doctors do. You know what I'm saying? So like and I think like that's a real thing, because once they realize, like, listen, this ain't 4 year of college, just like 8 to 12 years of college, and give them the realities of, like, you see a doctor on TV, like that's TV. Like the reality is you got long shifts that sometimes people don't even notice. You know what I mean? And then I
Sometimes
get
you don't even go home.
exactly. So I get doctors to talk to them about being a doctor. And I think sometimes that get lost on, a lot of people that work with the kids. Is like, sometimes you just got to put them in a position and, give them a reality check or whatever the case may be. And that's the type of leadership that I just do. I just want to serve the people, serve the families, and just help them become better and become stronger. And then we have a better, stronger community.
Okay. All right. So I had a fun question. So picture yourself. Okay, picture like you ain't even, I'm not even here. You're not even talking to me. Picture you're talking to yourself from 15 years ago.
Wow.
Picture you're talking to yourself 15 to 20 years ago. And what advice would you give Eric Jackson 15, 20 years ago? I always laugh because I think of my response to myself like, girl.
Oh man, that's a good question. But so 15 years ago, I really would have said invest the money. You see what I'm saying? Invest it, have a very financial literacy, and just understanding money and credit. A lot of people to this day don't understand how credit works, and that's why we get the kids working at a young age to understand how credit works. And this, yeah, man, the money situation, I did good. You see what I'm saying? But knowing what I know now, oh man, I'm telling you, like buying and investing in property. You see what I'm saying? Instead of buying the cars and partying and stuff like that. So I would have did a whole lot less partying and a lot more stacking. And just working collectively. I think we grew up in a time where everybody wanted to be competitive. A lot of kids came up playing sports and stuff like that. So we always came up in a competitive environment. Like, I want to be the best dancer. I want to be the best cheerleader. But when you're adults, you got to learn how to start working collectively. Like, it's good for you to be talented, but you also have to share your talent. You know what I'm saying? For the whole collective to grow. We got a lot of people doing a lot of great individual things, and I commend them. But, when it comes to working collectively, we have to work on that, because my success can only take me as far as my success can take me. But if I help 10 people be successful, that can help the community grow. And that's one thing that I really learned, and I wish I had learned a little bit earlier, is working collectively. We got it now, so the only thing we can do is just keep on pushing.
Awesome. So last question. What do you think what do you think is next for the Lowcountry and the youth of the Lowcountry? What do you, and also this is kind of like a two-part question. What do you think is next for the Lowcountry as a whole with, you know, how so much entrepreneurship is growing when it comes to Black entrepreneurship, Black leadership, Black activism, all of these things are growing. You know, and also what's next for R3 Inc. and for you?
Well, back to my point, we have to start working collectively. The city of Charleston demographics is changing drastically, as you can see. The city is being gentrified, so the amount of Black people that's living in the city is decreasing. So that's why there's even more reason for us to come together and work together to keep our businesses striving and thriving. That's, as you know, me personally. That's what we're going to be working on. As you know, we've launched a consulting agency. We've launched a Low Country Black Parent Association that really focuses on educating our parents and assisting our parents, because I work with the kids, but I wouldn't have kids if I didn't have parents. So that's another thing that we have launched. So out of R3 Inc., we have launched other, businesses, for-profit and non-profit. But for R3, we are about to start doing coding classes for the youth. So get them into coding, because that business is booming. Charleston is going to be slated in the next 5 to 10 years to be the Silicon Valley of the South. So like, we want to be able to have these kids getting these type of jobs. And one of our co-founders, Kimberly Jackson, is going to be leading that effort and getting the kids into coding. So that's one thing that's going to be doing. We expanding our office spaces, so we'll have an office in West Ashley and in downtown. That's going to be major too. So just expanding our base and just expanding to reach more kids, getting more kids involved, and just really getting them engaged in what's going on around the city. One of the things that I always tell people, man, is people don't understand how much of a jewel Charleston is. Like, we have people coming across the world to come to our city. So I want the kids to be tapped into that. We known for selling art. We known for being historical. So why aren't we creating historians? Why don't we create Black historians to tell our history through our lens? And that's some things that we're going to be working on, is making sure that that's a big business. Those historians get paid a lot of money. And then we are about to get an African-American art museums. We should be filling that place up with our kids and our families. So like, that's something that we're going to be working on most definitely in the future.
Well, that is definitely awesome to hear. So I'm very excited about that. That's all the questions I have. I don't know if you have any final remarks you want to give, any thank yous or anything like that, where people can find you, how they can support you and support your cause.
Yes, well, I just want to say thank you to Kimberly Perino Jackson, that's my wife, and David White Jr., that's our CEO, Native Charlestonians. And they're really the brains behind the operation. A lot of people see me all the time, but they're the one who keep the motor running, man, and keeping us where we need to be. I want to thank our board of directors. Most of our board of directors are born and raised in Charleston. So we just thankful to everybody who have supported us over the year, all our future supporters. Yeah, just check us out, man. We at www.ther3inc.org. And you can check out our website. Right now, we have an after-school homework program. It's online, it's virtual for the students that are struggling with some subjects. You can reach out through online, and we can help you out there. I also go into school, so if parents need some like lunch buddy type assistance, or somebody just go to the school and check on the kids, you can go to the school, add my name, Eric Jackson, to the mentor list, fill out an application, and I'll just go check on them and make sure they're having a good day in school. And that's just the type of things that we're doing. We're working on some in-school programming for the alternative to suspension and expulsion. So we just want to keep our kids learning, man, and engaged in the learning process.